Hello, Mama Ramps. Good morning. How are you? Who else is here? Cake Czar is here. Quilts by Mimi, Emily Newberry, Catherine, Jan, Tracy. Welcome in. Sissy, Mary Mar. Welcome in. So this is my seller help and chat. I'm not selling fabric this morning. This is my chat for sellers. And normally I do what's called a walk and talk where I get on my treadmill and walk and chat with y'all. But um, my treadmill is packed away because I am trying to sell my house. And apparently, treadmills sitting in the middle of your family room are not attractive. So, as per my realtor, no, I agree, it's not. So, yeah, I'm getting fat and lazy while I try to sell my house because I'm not walking. Welcome in, everybody. Hope you're having a good Thursday, having a good week. And yeah, so I need to know who watched. Good morning, Meryl King. Who by chance was able to catch the show that Whatnot Sellers did yesterday? They kind of had like a celebrate a billion show, billion sales on Whatnot show on the Whatnot Seller account. Anyone here catch that yesterday? And did they share? I was in the middle of too many things yesterday. I had company come, so I didn't get a chance to watch it. Did anyone catch the show on Whatnot Sellers yesterday? Anyone? Anyone? Front Porch did. So tell us, did we miss anything? Did they say anything profound? I mean, it's cool that they announced, that we've hit a billion in sales. Let's see. Seeing Face Group books talking about flat rate shipping going away. Have you heard anything like that? That was a rumor based on um, some information that accidentally went out to a few sellers who then copied it and pasted it in a bunch of places. I asked specifically about that and got the response that um, not right now. That was not, I mean, they didn't give me a definitive never because they never do, but they said it was, a mistaken thing that accidentally went out to a few sellers about some updates to shipping. So, yeah. So, Front Porch said it was more of a celebration of how far they've come, hitting a billion, than an informative. Okay. And then they did little mini interviews with different top sellers. Yeah, that's cool. So, we'll have to catch that on the back end. So, in the show notes, because I love the interviews with sellers. I always feel like I get good tips and information when they talk to sellers who are successful. So if you want to catch that interview, that show on the back end, in the show notes, the second starred bullet is, or actually, it's the first starred bullet is Whatnot Seller account, but the second starred bullet is the YouTube for Whatnot. And you can go there because they post those. So here's, see, the second star bullet is the Whatnot app, is the YouTube for Whatnot. So you can go there and catch those. Did you get your filming equipment? Filming equipment? Um, filming equipment. Oh, the stuff that we won at the seller summit. Yes, we did. However, we have not unpacked it and started using it because we're trying to move. So we figured that we would start using it when we have our new setup. So, but it is here. And it's like, I can't believe I can't unpack this and start using it. But we literally got it right before we started, totally, because we moved our entire show setup from the one room out into our garage so that we could get our house ready. And so, yeah, I didn't want to ruin new equipment trying to move everything. So, yeah. Oh, thank you, Trey Lou. I hope you have a beautiful day too. Thank you so much. Um, so yeah, that's the process we're in. The Midwest had a lot of crashes this week. Oh, yeah. Like crashes on the app or crashes like um horrible car crashes. So that's not good. Not good to hear Fabric Revival. Either way, what goes around is here with the raid. Thank you so much, Joan. How are you? Let me pull up what goes around on my screen. So here is Joan's profile, what goes around. And she has a show scheduled on the 27th, which is Quilt Shop Cottons, which is what day is that? Today is the 25th. So in 2 days, Saturday. And then she's got this really cool Mayhem and Moonlight Halfway to Halloween show scheduled. Who loves Halloween? I do. My daughter's birthday is Halloween and she loves it. So look at all the shows she's got coming up. Please give her a follow and bookmark upcoming shows. Thank you so much. Let's see. I was locked out of the app for 3 shows. Oh, for 3 hours. And it crashed and dropped my show. Yikes. Yeah, that's not cool. Um, what day was it that we were doing a show and it crashed completely for only about 10 minutes? But it pretty much, I mean, thankfully, we were pretty well into the show. So it didn't completely ruin the show, but it wasn't great. So, yeah, wasn't great. So, yeah, I think they're just doing lots of updates and lots of things. And then we're having lots of tornadoes and earthquakes and fires, and just having them be able to keep all the servers up and running gets challenging when there's lots of crap going on. Let's see. Vonnie says, I'm getting ready to do that after 20 years, so I'm a little overwhelmed. Yeah, I get that. I get that for sure. Hey, Andy is in the house. Good morning. How are you? Just modded you if you're going to stick around. You couldn't restart your show. So ours, we were able to, it pretty much just let us back in. I never like officially ended it. It just kind of kicked us out and I just minimized and came back in and kept doing that until it finally let us start back up again. But yeah, it kind of sucks because it ruins your show. Jerry's in the house. Hello, Jerry. How are you today? So yeah, just yeah, roll with the punches. That's all I can say because it's honestly those of us who've been around a while. I mean, I remember a day, and this was like in December, like heated, hot, like early December. The app crashed one Saturday and it was down for like hours and hours. And it was one of those promotion days where they were doing like reduced commission. And this was probably 2 years ago. And it completely crashed on everybody. And it's just like, what do you do? Roll with the punches. Yeah. Yeah. It's don't put your eggs all in one basket. Yeah. I mean, you do have to have, you know, things that you can do in case. But I don't see it being an issue, you know, all the time. You know, they definitely are invested in making sure things are working. It's just that it's going to always be, you're always going to have glitches. You're always going to have power outs. You're always going to have servers go down, and you just kind of have to roll with the punches. So it's life. It's life. And then there was a day where the whole internet crashed for a big part of the country because one of Amazon services. Remember that day where, because Amazon services actually has a lot of apps go through their, I don't know how that all works, but goes through their stuff. And like half the internet in the country, not just whatnot, but tons of companies' websites were down for like a whole day. And it's one of those days where everybody kind of goes apocalyptic conspiracy, what would we do if, and seriously, I mean, our economy relies a little bit too much on being able to do everything online, right? So yeah, it's kind of crazy. Let's see. Yeah, it was crazy. I remember that. Let's see. Fabric revival. Seeing so many people get wholesale accounts for quilting fabric, I did some math and it doesn't seem profitable. Um, well, it's not very profitable if you're not able to get the right kind of bids in your shows. So sourcing wholesale fabric, it just all depends on, if you can get good pricing and if you have the right people in your shows, but really you can't expect to buy wholesale fabric and get a whole lot more than what a quilt shop can get buying it brand new. So if it's not profitable for you to do that, then yeah, it's not profitable. So it just all depends. And you don't, just remember that you don't always know everybody's, how they source, where they source, how much, because you can get better pricing if you buy in bulk, if you're able to buy in huge quantities. So that's a whole different ball game than someone who just buys a little bit here and there. So, it depends on the situation you're in. And don't project what think about, your what you can do on your end and imagine what someone else is doing. You just don't know. You don't know someone else's back end. Just got the email about shipping changes and confused about the no flat rate box. So you got another email? Let me check in there. Let me look and see. Because the last time they told me it was a mistake, um, that they sent that out. So if they're sending it again, let me just look and see if I honestly have not been getting the emails that they send. So if they're sending that again, this is the first one you got. When did you get it? What's the date on it? Will you send me, will you like do a copy paste and send that to me in my, or I can, or send me a message and I'll give you my personal email, because the first time that went out, they said it was a mistake. And then that it was not intended for general public viewership. It was something that went out to just, let me just look and see in my email if I'm getting anything, but I have not been getting their actual like announcement emails lately. So you just got it this morning. Let me see if I have anything in here from Whatnot. Because of course I get all the notification emails, but I'm not seeing. Okay, so I did get that one. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything in here about that. So yeah, send me a message and you didn't get it either. All right, send me a message and then I'll give you my personal email and you can forward it to me. Because maybe you got the email too. Okay, so a couple of you just got it. Okay. Hmm. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything about that in my email. Because I was told that was an accidental thing that went out that was supposed to just be a test or something like that. Because if flat rate is going away, that scares me to death. You just got it. Okay. It was in your junk folder. Let me check my junk again. Let's see. Is it from Whatnot? Does it say Whatnot on the on the like who it's from? Let's see. It does. Okay. Yeah, send me a screenshot of it. You got it like 30 minutes ago. Okay. Let me go on this screen and go into my messages and see. Because, yeah, that scares me about flat rate going away. Let's see. So whoever can get it to me fast. It was sent to my email. It says important USPS shipping update. Okay. So let me try that. Let's see. No, I don't have anything in my email that's coming up with that. So interesting. Okay, it's in my message. Okay, let me look at it here. So the way that that reads, if it's true, which it looks like it is, um, that scares me. Okay, yeah, because those of us who sell fabric, that's really what makes it affordable. It says it will become a more expensive option for most shipments and no longer provide the best value for buyers. So my question is, does it say anything about the Max 921 going away? Because that would tell me it is. It's posted all over Facebook. Okay. Take a minute, read the show notes. Yeah, I did an internet search and it does not announce this. Okay. I'll reach out. But I wish that can let me Vintage Chick, I'm gonna send you my personal email. If you wouldn't mind forwarding me the actual email. because it's weird that I'm not getting it. If you would just, forward it to me so I can read the thing in its entirety so I can ask with informed. So I just sent you my email if you'll forward it to me. Um, okay, interesting. Yeah, it kind of made me nervous last time when they said it was a test and then didn't specifically say that that was anything because the original one that got sent out supposedly accidentally was at the beginning of it was actually saying something about July 15th or something like that as the date that it would be effective. This one is saying August. So, yeah. All right. Let me just see if I have anything else in here. Let's see. Yeah, and this came directly from Whatnot. Yeah, from that do not reply. Okay, let me see. I do not see anything in here that is dated this morning. So for some reason, I am not getting those kind of emails. Hmm, interesting. All right. Well, I'll check into it. You went through a period of no emails from Whatnot. I contacted them, sign up again. This is not good for sellers. Okay, you sent it. Let me see if it came through. I know I've gotten emails from you before. Where is it not coming in? Let's see. This email account gets so much junk. I have to really um, sort through, but I am not seeing an email from you. It might take a second to come in. Let's see. I'm having a show again today at 5. Um, I will have 1, 2, and $4 starts. So everyone give Keaton a. Oh, you did the name wrong. Okay. You've never received emails from Whatnot? Oh, you got a weird message. Oh, okay. Yeah, you must have typed it wrong. Let's see. Let me just make sure I'm not missing any questions. Okay, let's see. Have you heard anything about the minimum sales to hit for immediate payout being increased from 1,000 to 2,500? I heard a rumor. I haven't heard that rumor, Meryl King. Let's see. Yeah, I haven't heard that one. So if that one's not something that officially came from Whatnot and it's just being rumored, it's probably not true. Probably just, whatever. But, they did take certain things away from new sellers just because they were having so many problems with new sellers not understanding how to do anything and screwing so many orders up. So the help center link in the email goes into more details. Okay, so we'll have to do that. Go into more detail thing. Huh? Okay, I just got it. It did go into junk, of course. Let me move it to my inbox. All right, let's see. Okay, so let me just look at this. Oh, interesting. It says in here to help offset the cost of switching packaging, we're providing financial support to sellers who have been most impacted by their use of USPS flat rate boxes. Because you used more than 100 USPS flat rate boxes in May, we'll apply funds to your whatnot ledger in July based on your May usage. Priority mail will remain available, but will cost significantly more than Ground Advantage while arriving only about 1 day sooner. Let's see. Ground Advantage will become the default shipping option with substantially lower rates for packages weighing 1 to 5 pounds. When possible, consider splitting orders in packages under 5 pounds to help keep costs low for buyers. Flat rate and priority packaging cannot be used with Ground Advantage labels, obviously. Let's see. Okay. I guess it's official. I was afraid of this, but yeah, not cool. Not cool for our category, right? Um so my question, a couple of questions I would have is, so one of the platforms that went to Ground Advantage almost exclusively is Poshmark, and the Postal Service created a Ground Advantage mailer that can be used for Ground Advantage, and it is free through the post office. So we'll have to see if we're going to be able to use those. I would imagine so. Yeah, it's a waterproof. It's kind of like the padded mailers that you get with flat rate. Um, and but it's brown. You got some. Have you been able to use them? Yeah, I'm not super excited about this because they are basically telling us that flat rate is going away and that everything is going to Ground Advantage and we're going to have to provide our own packaging. Yeah, they didn't make them for Whatnot, so I wasn't using them, but with them telling us now in an email, so check your emails. I didn't get it. I can't find it that I got it, but everybody else is getting it, so I'm assuming it's legit. So, yeah, because Vintage Chick forwarded me her email that she got. So let me just look and make sure again that I don't see it in my, yeah. I'm for some reason I'm just not getting certain Whatnot emails. I'll have to ask. So super annoying. The update is an email that Whatnot sent out this morning saying that by August 1st, flat rate is going away. So, um, yeah, as of August 1st, it looks like, let me read this again. For some reason, it says we're reaching out to give you advance notice of a shipping change from the United States Postal Service that may affect your business. USPS flat rate shipping will no longer be supported on Whatnot. So do I. I pretty much ship 100% flat rate. So this really sucks big time. Yeah. So I'm sure Reddit has, yeah, a copy. Two Junk sells vintage and rarely used it. I do max shipping and rarely pay out of pocket. I put exact weights. Well, flat rate is the boxes that that the post office provides that are free, that are priority flat rate. Yeah, boxes are very expensive. So for those of us who've been shipping flat rate, um, and you taking advantage of the free boxes, this sucks big time. Yeah. The email says you can do a private show to see what your new rates will be. Okay. Yeah, padded priority. I used a ton. We used a ton of those. A ton of those. You think people will start liquidating? Yeah, maybe. Um, but they're saying it's expected to reduce buyer shipping costs. But my question is that if they're doing that, then the Max 921 probably is going away too, because the Max 921 was based on a flat rate. Um, a flat rate, right? So let's see. Let me click the Help Center link on here and see what it tells us. It just says Ground Advantage will become the default shipping service. Priority mail will still be available as an option. Most sellers won't need to take any action before these changes take effect. If you currently use flat rate packaging, you'll need to switch. If you use priority mail packaging, review the packing guidance below before shipping with Ground Advantage. Using flat rate or priority mail packing with a Ground Advantage label may result in a fee of up to $20. Let's see. Packages under 1 pound will use simplified pricing based on shipment weight only instead of shipment weight and shipping distance. That's new. Um, Interesting. Okay. Let's see. Mm, This says you won't need to manually update your shipping settings. Ground Advantage will automatically become your default shipping option when these changes take effect. Sorry, I'm probably missing all your stuff here. Just a second. Um, so it says you will no longer be able to use flat rate packaging at all. No longer supported. Doesn't affect media mail or first class letters, but it doesn't tell us what the rates are going to be. But it says you can schedule a private show and test it. Uh, yeah, wow. I'm not happy. Not happy. How about you guys? So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess we have to see what the rates are going to be, and we have to see. But yeah, I probably I'll reach out and ask some questions. Yeah, it very well could be vintage chick. Very well could be in our category at least. Um, I don't know that it's going to affect. I'm trying to think. I mean, I think honestly, our categories that would be impacted the most because that was what we all relied on heavily because people could get a full box of fabric for $9.21. So it sounds to me like that Max 921 is gone. Um, yeah. So let's see. I sent you a message. It's horrible. The shipping that my customers are being charged and whatnot is not happening. So what do you sell, Jackie? Yeah, no more filibox shows, that's for sure. Let's see. Definitely gonna hurt the apparel fabric sellers. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm very concerned. Very concerned. I used poly mailers only in the beginning. It took me forever. Let's see. To figure out flat rate, and I love it now, so that stinks. Yeah. Yeah, giant poly mailers ground might help us. But again, I'll have to see the rates because if it's similar rates to what it was before, as far as ground advantage is concerned, because you know what because I always do the max 921, and then the buyer would pay 921, and then I would do the adjustments, and sometimes Whatnot was eating up to 25, $30 when I did a huge giant poly mailer, because I would use one of my free adjustments. So that's my question. Are the free adjustments going away? And is the max, obviously, I feel like the max 921 is going away. So, yeah. Yep. Do I think embroidery items, towels, bags, etc., would sell well on Whatnot? Debbie, are you talking vintage or are you talking, um, handmade that you make new? Yeah, definitely. I think they will, but anything handmade right now is tough because pre-made, if it's pre-made and you can sell it within the 2-day period, then yeah, that's fine. But taking custom orders and then having time to make it and send it, Whatnot doesn't allow that. They want everything shipped within 2 days. So it's really hard to do handmade custom on Whatnot. They aren't supporting it. So but can you sell it? Yes. Is it hard to get an audience? Yes. It's hard just like on any other platform because handmade's tough. It's just a tough category to get sales and get an audience because you have to really do a ton of your own promoting. So let's see. Jerry said, when I sent my quilt to Fabric King, it cost me $95 for the postal service to get it there. Yeah. Yeah. So I just feel like, switching to ground advantage is probably more that they were getting to a point where Whatnot just wasn't willing to eat the amount of shipping costs they were eating all these years. We had it good because in order to grow, they were willing to eat a lot of the shipping costs, and they're just not going to anymore. So I mean, honestly, I'm not surprised that this is happening because shipping is just outrageous, and Whatnot has been eating a lot of the cost of shipping for the whole time that they've been live. They were paying way too much, and they were paying way too much because nobody was shipping correctly. Exactly. And the Postal Service is really hammering down because they were eating a lot of costs too. So, yeah. You need to check your email and see if you got the email. But basically, we got an email that came out this morning saying that flat rate is going away. So if you were using flat rate boxes for any of your shipping, they're no longer going to allow flat rate as an option for shipping. So yeah. I've heard in another place that costs for sellers were going to actually go down 20%. Have you heard that? I haven't heard that. Timeless treasure collection. Um, what do you mean costs for sellers? Like the amount of commission they charge or what costs? So I don't know. Yeah. And this is just saying the 20% that's in this email is saying that it will reduce buyer shipping costs. So, yeah, for the for the packages that previously were being sent, um, priority or ground advantage that were heavier, maybe they're going to give us a better ground advantage rate. I hope so. I hope it helps offset the fact that we can no longer do 921 max, but I think people will no longer buy as much. So, yeah, because it does specifically mention in here, it says this change is part of an update that is expected to reduce buyer shipping costs by approximately 20% for the majority of orders. So, yeah, well, it is going to simplify it. It will simplify it because if ground advantage is the only option unless you upgrade, because it does say that priority, not flat rate, but priority will still be an option. It just will cost a lot more and will only really provide a 1 day extra ship time. So, they're basically saying they want us to just do everything ground advantage. So, packages weighing 1 to 5 pounds will use new negotiated ground advantage rates, with shipping costs expected to decrease by about 20%. Yep. Yep. So you're no longer going to be able to use flat rate boxes. Yeah. So, yeah. And then it's not really saying much about, let me see if it says anything on here about 5 pounds and over. Um, yeah, it doesn't say anything about 5 pounds and over, because it says 1 to 5 pounds will use the new negotiated. What they aren't telling us what the rates are for 1 to 5 pounds. And then they aren't telling us, let's see. Oh, and they're saying on here, if you frequently ship heavier packages, weigh your products to understand how many items fit within a 5 pound shipment and use custom shipping profiles to bundle limits to help keep shipments at or below 5 pounds when possible. So they're encouraging you to not send more than 5 pounds of stuff right here in this. So, in other words, what they're saying is use custom shipping profiles so that when someone hits 5 pounds, it flips to and unbundles to a new order for them to have to pay shipping again for another box or package. I know 5 pounds is nothing. Yep. So, yeah, this is going to affect us pretty badly. I don't know. I mean, change happens. You have to go with the flow. Um, don't panic because you have to, honestly, other platforms, this is the norm on other platforms, right? And so people are used to going to other platforms and having to pay extra if they want something shipped priority or flat rate, So if you go into the Bay or Etsy or something and you want something, you choose to have it shipped quicker, which honestly, nowadays, flat rate and priority really aren't that much quicker because they stopped doing the 1 to 2 day um, shipping. So yeah, if you're gonna do a fill a box show, do it now before this takes effect. So because there definitely won't be a point in doing fill a box shows after this takes effect. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna have a it sounds to me like there will be a set rate for the 1 to 5 pounds, but once the people buy more than five. And so that's the problem is I feel like that's just gonna affect us heavily. People will, buy up to the 5 pound and then be done. So yeah, because they aren't gonna want to have to pay for multiple boxes. Because it really sounds like in here they're saying if you go over 5 pounds, um, the rates are not going to be great. But that's really going to affect clothing sellers as well because, you know, just a single pair of jeans is already a pound, more than a pound, right? So clothing sellers, this is going to affect them pretty badly too. So, yeah, interesting. Well, let's see how it goes. Try and stay positive. Let's see how it goes. I don't know what to say. You're glad you're on vacation for July. Yeah. Well, but you're gonna come back to this, right? Let's see. 4th Ave, they probably don't need, let's see. Then they probably don't need to assume 4 to 7 ounces is 7 ounces, and you will need to, yeah, I would definitely say you're going to need to, um, stop using range weights and be try and be more exact, um, on your weights so that people, um, you know what they're doing. And if you've used, Vintage Chick just sent me a hidden message. If you've done shipping on other platforms like the Bay or Mercari or Etsy or other platforms, this is more the norm comparatively, right? And Poshmark went completely ground advantage. So that's kind of the norm there. I don't shop there, so I don't really know. Um, I honestly don't know, from a buyer's perspective, because I mean, I shop a lot on Whatnot, but I haven't really, since I joined Whatnot, I really haven't been buying a lot on other platforms except for the Zon. Um, so tell me if you guys sell on those other platforms right now. I mean, I still have active accounts on other platforms because you don't put all your eggs in one basket like we talked about. But yeah, wearing history says we spend hundreds on shipping supplies for our off whatnot business. It sucks. Yeah. There are people that have told me they just use 1 to 3 ounce and put whatever in the box. Yeah, and that's probably why this is a problem because they've ruined it for the rest of it. My last 4 shows, I had buyers divided up to 5 boxes, mixed, priority, and ground advantage. It's a mess. So did they already put the shipping settings they're talking about in your are they already in effect on your account or something? Yeah, we've had it easy, you guys. I mean, when I first started selling on Whatnot, they actually were, um, you've hidden your eggs and can't find them. So I'm curious about why it's messed up in Jackie's account. So, must be, I have been in contact for a few days, no help. If we can do a practice show, I would think they would have it set up for us to see. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about because they're saying on here to do a practice show, so maybe they're in effect today. Let me just look on let me look on web version today and see what it's showing. Let me just look at my shipping settings and see what it's showing in here, if it's showing anything different. Mm. Yeah, it's not getting me. Let's see. Let's see. Fabric Revival says I buy poly bags on the Zon and love them. Yeah, that's where I get the ones I use for under a pound. So I can't even get the app to open another window here. Let's see. There it goes. All right. So Seller Hub. Well, it's being really, really, really slow for some reason on here. Everybody's probably freaking out. Shipping profiles. That's what I'm looking for here. Look on this one and see if I can see. Let's see. Also compare, find the cheapest price per item. Okay, let's see. Mm, Well, my shipping settings are still showing flat rate, priority, priority, like it normally does on this screen. Has anyone checked to see if there's changed? Maybe they only put it under practice shows. So yeah. Yeah. Well, honestly, Laura, we can email whatnot and complain all we want. It's not going to really do anything. If this has probably been a long-term decision. I mean, this came out rumors of this because I think they accidentally sent this out, or maybe they purposely sent it out, leaked it out to see what people's reaction was. And when they make a big change like this, for example, about 2 years ago, who was here when we were allowed to do gifting, um, they took that away, and I mean, it was a huge uproar. Everyone was totally pissed about that, and I mean, they even had like people doing the shows that were like the whole show was like a protest that they took gifting away and everything. When they make a business decision like that, no, I don't think there's anything we can all say that's going to change it. They've strategically figured out what shipping costs are and figured out it's just not going to work anymore for their business. And so, yeah, we can complain. And I'm not saying, that you aren't, that you don't have legitimate concerns, because this is going to affect especially our fabric community. It's going to be a huge impact. But if people still want to buy on the platform and people still want to sell on the platform, it, you roll with the punches. And yeah, it is going to affect smaller sellers more. But honestly, it's going to affect the bigger sellers too, because one of the reasons that they're big is because they sell in such huge volumes. And if they have customers now that will only buy X amount because they don't want to pay multiple boxes, it's going to affect them just as much, if not more. So, I mean, it's gonna go around. I'm just curious to see what the rates are gonna look like. Um, yeah, the people who do really long shows are going to have a problem because if they're having to unbundle, people into multiple packages, that's takes that much longer to ship it. And the logistics of having to buy all of your own shipping supplies instead of getting free ones, that's huge. That's to me is the huge part, is that I'm going to have to pay for all my shipping supplies now. So that means, honestly, that means, I'm going to have to up my rates because I'm going to have to be, um, it's going to cost me more to send something, right? So I'm going to have to pass that cost on to my buyers because I can't afford now to, yeah, I wouldn't be able to afford, yeah, and it's going to take more time because, you're going to have to, do that kind of packaging. Yeah, I'm with you on that, right? Um, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see on both of those comments. Yeah, it'll be interesting. So, but if you pass the cost on to buyers, they're already buying less, so they will buy even less. Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. I mean, it comes out in the wash. Here's what I'm going to say. Don't panic. Let's let's see how it goes. Let's see what those rates are. Let's see if people are still going to be able to get a good amount of fabric in a package. Let's see what the rates are. Yeah. Um, yeah. Well, if you just ordered a bunch of flat rate boxes, you just take them back to the post office. Because that's what I'll be doing. I'll just be taking all the ones I have back to the post office and saying, guess what? I don't need these anymore. And I will definitely not have as much space. Um, and honestly, here's one thing I will say that we're lucky about. If we sell fabric, fabric is not fragile. You don't have to bubble wrap it. And as long as you put it in some kind of lining, if you use really good poly mailers, heavy duty, and then just put a nice thin plastic in there, to put your stuff in, it's not going to get, beat up, damaged, you know, and poly mailers actually do better in the mail than boxes. Boxes get beat up. Boxes get beat up. And so, I think that'll be good, because we're lucky because we don't have to bubble wrap. We don't have to pay for all the paper and all of that other types of products have to buy. I mean, they buy bubble wrap and paper in massive quantities. And so, yeah, yeah, the pivot is starting a poly mailer company. Exactly. Start sourcing poly mailers and selling them on Whatnot because everybody's going to be needing them, right? So yeah, interesting stuff. So yeah, I'll be reaching out and asking some questions because I mean, the thing that I'm like, okay, so this is nice, but can you at least tell us what the rates are going to be so that we know what to prepare for? That's kind of where I'm a little bit peeved. I want to see a rate chart. Because you tell us about this, but you don't tell us the rates. Yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll do a practice show and send the invite out to like just everybody in fabric and let's practice it and see how it works. Because if they're saying that you can do a practice show, maybe practice shows will automatically have the new updates. Yeah, I know, right? Order a million large poly mailers and sell those instead. Yeah. Hey, Don, if you're late to the show, have you checked your email this morning? So we got an email this morning, which I did not actually get, and flat rate is going away effective August 1st, it sounds like. So, yeah, no more flat rate, switching to ground advantage only. And so you're going to have to pay for your own packaging. Yeah. I mean, we were already doing our own packaging for under a pound, right? Um, so honestly, I mean, I'm picturing the ones that I use for under a pound right now, and the ones that I already use and buy in bulk um, can actually fit because I buy a 10, I think they're 10 by 13. Yeah, 10 by 13. I buy those heavy duty black ones. And I can fit a good amount of fabric already in those. And then, they're saying, they're encouraging you, basically saying, don't don't allow shipments to go over 5 pounds without bundling them. I don't think they lost their contract. I think they made a strategic decision that, um, all the way that they were doing shipping was just costing them too much. And I think they were getting a lot of pushback from the Postal Service because so many of our sellers were screwing up shipping. Yeah. Yeah. We were hearing rumors about this months ago. And there was an email that went out similar to this, and they were saying it was an oopsie. I think it was probably, now I'm thinking it was probably on purpose. So, yeah. Um, and they've obviously negotiated a new contract. But I mean, we shouldn't be surprised. Poshmark did this. They went away from, so on Poshmark, if you buy on Poshmark or sell on Poshmark, everything is ground advantage there. So, and here's the thing, priority mail is a joke anyway, because it used to be that it really did get there faster, but once they changed from first class to ground advantage and had so many platforms using priority, they can't get it there any faster. They really can't because there's too much stuff going priority mail. And they even came out and said that. They're like, you know, you're paying more for something, but we really can't get it there that much faster because it's just the volume is just too crazy high, you know? So, yeah, Poshmark negotiated with the post office and created a packaging that they use. That's why I was saying I'm curious to see if we're going to get to be able to use that as well. It's a poly, it's like a kind of looks like the bubble, the flat rate bubble mailers, only it's brown instead of white, and it says ground advantage on it. So maybe we're going to get to use those as well. I don't know. So, because if it's ground advantage, you would think that we should be able to use those. So, I don't know. Yeah, take a deep breath, don't panic. Let's see how it rolls out. Everybody loves Whatnot. I think, it's just going to be an adjustment. We're going to have to see how it works out. Um, yeah, ground advantage is not insured. So if you have people buy, a butt ton of fabric, you're going to probably want to pay for the insurance. I mean, I think there's a rule if they spend over a certain amount, it's automatically, they have to sign for it and all that anyway. So let's see. I have a feeling it will go towards the Shopify method since they are doing more with them lately. Um, oh, the Shopify method where, what do you mean by that? I guess clarify that with, what do you mean Shopify method? Um, this Shopify is just, I mean, it's just the host, right? But they have a certain way that they do their shipping. Well, USPS does provide that Ground Advantage mailer for Poshmark, so I'm curious to see if we're going to get to use that as well. Shopify for shipping, you buy your labels through their service, but they have a whole shipping system. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah. There's no Whatnot discount on. Yeah, so I think Whatnot definitely will still have, a rate that they're going to have. It sounds to me like they negotiated a new Ground Advantage rate for the 1 to 5 pounds. But the way they're wording that, it kind of makes it seem like they're really encouraging you to do custom profiles where it forces people to, you know, stay under 5 pounds. And then if they want to buy more than that, it's going to unbundle it into a separate package. So I had a Facebook contest. It was um, $11.20 to mail from Maine to Ohio for 17 ounces. Oh, thank you for your purchase, Vonnie. You didn't get the email either. Yeah, I didn't get it in my um, email. It's not showing up anywhere in my email. Vintage Chick had to forward it to me. So I don't know why some people are getting the email and some are not. I don't have an answer to that. I think everyone's supposed to be getting it, but for some reason I haven't been getting a lot of the emails. Yeah, I checked my junk as well and I didn't see it in junk either. So it's not in my junk mail because I did a search using the term whatnot and USPS, and I got the one that Vintage Chick sent, and then the next one that showed up was a claim from the Postal Service that I got to send a claim through in March for some reason. I can't remember what it was for. So yeah. I don't even remember what this was for. Interesting. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, it was because someone didn't get their order. And so we had to send in a claim. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, that is what it was. You just found it in your junk. Okay. So yeah, you got it then. Okay. I don't know why I'm not getting it. That's really annoying. I'll have to send let me just send let's see. If I send it through, let's see, contact us, email us. Because the Whatnot account that I have, the email I have for that one, I purposely used a different one than my main email that I use for personal stuff because I wanted to keep it separate. And let's see. Let me just see if it's coming up with anything on here. Yeah. I don't know, you guys. Okay. Well, this is what we're going to be hearing about for everything. Yeah, we've been talking about that East Coast. So that's what we're talking about. You got yours at 7:06 this morning. Yeah. Wait only. Yeah, that's it says on that email um that the rate they negotiated is going to be, well, for the lower than a pound it's weight only, so it looks to me like it'll be a little bit simplified for the under a pound, and then 1 to 5 pounds. There's You just received it 20 minutes ago. Okay, so maybe it's slow going out to everybody. Let me just look and see. I'm just going to send an email and say, um, so I'm typing an email to them to see if they can look and see why I'm not getting the emails. Let's see, ask about rate. Yeah, I'll ask about rates. Um, we need a special dispensation from whatnot for fabric, like media mail. Yeah, I wish, right? That would be nice. Yeah, I get the notifications like, so in my emails, I get like the shaved shows are going live, and I get the one that says, here's how your show went. I get all of those, but I'm not getting like the announcements that they're pushing out to sellers. So I'm getting the ones that your saved shows are starting soon. Because when I type in whatnot in search to have it bring up everything I got from whatnot, that's what I'm mostly seeing is just all of the saved shows and summaries of shows. I am getting those, but I'm not getting, the announcements that they're sending out. So, like, I don't ever get the ones that tell 'em about special events coming up. I don't get that kind of stuff. So it's kind of annoying. So I learn about some of that. I mean, honestly, I know about some of it before it happens, but then I don't actually ever get the official emails. So it's super annoying. And when I check my junk folder, they're not in there either. So I know they're not just coming and going to junk. What I don't know is sometimes certain email platforms, um, once something is has been gone to your junk folder multiple times, sometimes it just completely gets blocked by the server and you have no control of that. So, yeah. Let's see. Whatnot is officially ending. Flat rate. Yep. Um, Platform is pushing all sellers to transition entirely to weight-based ground advantage. Yep. Yep. Whatnot sellers should do a show. I agree. They should. How will it change free giveaways? I don't think it's going to affect that because you can still use the letter rate. They're saying that won't be affected. So we'll still be able to use envelopes for stickers, gift cards, stuff like that. Um, it said right in there that won't be affected. Um, yeah. And it does say that we're going to I already had Vintage Chick forward it to me, BurnerNet, so I did get it from her. Um, yeah, Laura, I agree. You might want to do a bunch of fill a box shows before the change if you're wanting to destash a bunch of fabric. Yeah. Let me just let me switch to questions for just a second and see what I missed. Louise, if you look at, let me pin, um, there is an envelope shipping guide in here. Let me pin it. It's right here. The envelope thing is tricky just because if you forget to update it to your existing shows, it won't work. You have to make sure everything is set exactly right. And then I think a lot of people, with the way they updated listings, are forgetting to change the category. So your listing has to be in the category of either stickers or trading cards. So make sure, just check all the stuff and make sure you have it right. But I have been hearing people say that some of theirs have been glitching and still not doing it right. So I don't know. Yeah, let's do a fill a box raid train before the before the thing. But at the same point, um, I mean, if you have a bunch of stuff you need to destash, great. Do a fill a box show before the change. But why would you get rid of a bunch of fabric that you can sell later for a good price if, you know, I mean, I'm saying don't get rid of sellable inventory just to fill a box, you know? And also, if you do that, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot in another way, which is if everybody starts doing fill a box shows, everybody's going to. Do we have sound back? Is sound back? Okay. Yeah, someone tried to call me and it flipped my phone because they called and then they were trying to leave a voicemail. And the whole time that's going on, it mutes your whatnot show. It's super fun. Because I did end the call, but then it flipped it to voicemail. So all right. So you could fill a box for the next year and not run out of inventory. Yeah, I'm just saying don't necessarily panic and do a bunch of fill a box shows and sell stuff that you could sell later for better rates, plus get all of your buyers totally, yeah, don't sell out of fear is what I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah. So, because you don't want to, do that and then shoot yourself in the foot later for stuff that you could have sold, you know, for better pricing. Um, yeah, so I agree with Becca. She's saying be careful about your approach because if everybody's really negative about this on their shows and starts dissing whatnot for the change, um, customers get that same attitude. So you need to have a positive attitude and, let's see what it does before, you get on your shows and start bashing whatnot. I mean, especially since no matter what the effect is, everybody's going to have to adjust and it just takes an adjustment period of time. And still, there's nowhere that you can go on and shop and buy a lot of fabric from someone live and see it live. You know, it, everybody still will love the experience, still will love coming to your shows and especially if you stay positive. Here's the problem with negativity is that negativity creates negativity and then the only people that want to hang out with you are the negative Nellies and it's just going to be a SHIT show instead of a fun show, right? So be positive, stay positive. Behind the scenes, you can bitch all you want, but if you become really negative about it, it's just going to make it for more of a negative experience for everybody. So, yeah, I want to see the new rates too. That's my question is okay, what are the rates though? Because are we still going to be able to get, 1 to 5 pounds worth of fabric for around the same shipping rate of about 921 or less? Maybe it's going to be less. That could be exciting. Maybe 1 to 5 pounds is going to be less than 921. And that would be good because that's what it kind of sounds like is they're saying that 1 to 5 pounds is going to be 20% less than what they were spending before. So let's do some math. What's 20% less? Because if they were automatically spending 921 for 1 to 5 pounds, let's do the math here on my calculator. 921 times 20% is let's see, times 20% is $1.84 less. So $1.84 less than 921. And you guys probably did the math better than me already. 736 is what it comes out to. So we'll see. Maybe you're going to be able to get 5 pounds of fabric or less for 736. That's not bad, right? And honestly, I mean, if you had, and if most sellers go to a format where you use a custom profile that's 1 to 5 pounds and it, cuts it off at 5 pounds and then it flips to another package, two packages for 14 dollars isn't horrible because that's what it would have been about the same, for 10 pounds of fabric if it was flipping to Ground Advantage on the back end. So we'll see. I do feel like they're really encouraging people to buy lower weights. So I already felt like that was the case, right? Because they were already, it was a pain in the butt to sell anything on here that was big, bulky, required heavy, wouldn't fit in a flat rate box, right? So, yeah, I don't know, Dawn. It's not saying that we're going to necessarily have a max shipping, but it's kind of sounding like there's going to be a discounted set rate for 1 to 5 pounds. So we'll see. We'll see. But that's going to be my questions. My questions are going to be, what are the rates, and is there still going to be a max, reduced rate that we can offer? Because that's a big deal to sellers to be able to have that, to be able to offer reduced rates. So what's the rate? And will there still be a max rate? Max bundle rate for 1 to 5 pounds. Let me do some math here. So an average yard of fabric weighs 5 ounces, right? So a pound, let's see, 16 times 5 is 80 ounces. So 80 ounces is 5 pounds. So if you take 80 and divide that by 5, you're going to be able to fit 16, up to about 16 yards of fabric, give or take, right? Because some brands of fabric weigh a little bit more, some weigh a little bit less. These changes take effect, they're saying, by August 1st. They're rolling it out. So by August 1st, no more flat rate. So, yeah. Yeah, and I would say that it is a downgrade burner, except that honestly, priority really wasn't an upgrade because it wasn't getting there any faster, really, anyway. And they weren't really great about taking care of a priority package any better than they were taking care of a Ground Advantage package. And I would say the boxes actually got beat the heck up more than poly mailers. I mean, the boxes I got were just beat to crap. And so I think that's part of it, is they were like, we're getting such a high volume of flat rate that it really wasn't doing any, people weren't getting any advantage of having a priority box because it wasn't getting there any faster, and it really wasn't getting taken care of better. And about the only thing it had was supposedly some insurance, which from my experience, if you tried to make a claim, good luck, right? So, yeah, yeah. So the big down is, yeah, no more free packaging. We don't get the free boxes anymore. So that's the big downer, is that we're going to have to pay for the packaging. So, yeah, that's a big downer. But um, we were already having to pay for poly mailers for everything under a pound. And so you're probably just going to have to source some bigger poly mailers. So, you know, and honestly, the only time I really would love to use a box is if for some reason there's something that needs more protection. But a tip, so a tip about that. Um, you can always put a box inside a poly mailer, and then it still gets mailed with the other poly mailers versus getting mailed with the boxes. Because when you go, the post office will separate the mail by, here's all the polys, and they put them in big bins, right? Versus boxes that get all stacked and smashed and dropped, and all the things that happen to boxes. And poly mailers are much safer because it's just a big pile of softer stuff. So if you have something fragile, and a lot of times I've seen a lot of people shipping where they recommend just, wrapping it up in the paper and the bubble mailer, put a little box around it or cardboard around it and still ship it in a poly mailer because then it ends up getting more safely shipped. Now, can you do that with, a lot of the vintage stuff? No. But they already weren't using flat rate because most of their stuff doesn't fit in flat rate, right? Um, well, you don't necessarily have to return your stash at flat rate, but you probably want to, because unless you want to store it for them, just take it back. Yeah, and they will take it back. So if you have a big old stash of flat rate boxes, just take them back to the post office when this goes into effect because you're not going to need them anymore. You can't use them anymore. No more flat rate, period. If you have some that are the priority ones that aren't flat rate, those you can still use if you're willing to, pay or have your customers pay extra for priority. But honestly, I don't see any advantage to doing that with this new program because, I mean, yeah, it's a free box, but they have to pay more and they're not going to want to. And it's not going to get there any faster, really. So, yeah. I don't see any advantage for that. Um, you do get the little bit of insurance. I would say maybe if you have someone that buys $500 worth or more, and it will fit in a priority box, you may want to use it just to have, be able to put it in priority and get the automatic insurance, and then I would still buy more. So yeah. So yeah. Let's see, let me just check and see if we have any other questions. But I'm going to reach out to my sources and ask those questions. I'll let you know what I hear back. I don't know if they'll tell me anything. Because again, when I asked about this a month ago, I was told that was a test, not currently in effect, but they did not commit to saying that it wasn't going to happen. And that's why I suspected it was going to happen. Um, so I'm honestly not surprised by this. Not surprised. Um, well, priority and priority flat rate are automatically insured for $100. But I think is Ground Advantage insured for $100? I don't remember. Let me look. Dad. Well, it is tracked. But I don't think it has the automatic insurance. Oh, it does. Yeah, Ground Advantage includes $100 of built-in insurance. So then you can purchase additional. So it does. It does have that. You're welcome. I try. Oh, thank you for the tip. Who just did that? Sparrow. That was kind of you. Unnecessary, but thank you. Let's see. So where did you see 4 to 7 ounces says 509 East Coast. Postal policy trained employees to automatically deny first insurance claims. So it's really a joke anyway. Yeah, that's true. That's true. You have to really push those through. But that's why it's nice, to just push them through whatnot. So if you have to, really it's better to just make whatnot have to handle those insurance claims. Um, because they're negotiating directly with, whatnot instead of us having to sit there and grind it out. Let's see. Heavy duty Medtronic. I'm reading Jess's. Is that a brand of poly mailers? You just got 400 heavy duty Medtronic for $40. Is today Prime Day on Whatnot or on Amazon? Oh, you just did a private show with a few friends, and it was showing the new rates, Andy? So the new rate for under okay, so the new rate for under a pound was 509 for East Coast. And you're in Arizona, so you were able to send from Arizona to East Coast for 509. See, and that's a little bit better rate than it was before. So if you look at the chart I have in here, let me pull that up and pin it. Um, so I have a chart in here that was showing the ground advantage rates. Let me pin it so we can look at it. So if you look at that, um, let's see. If so, she would be like, so that would be comparing like sending from zone 1 to zone 9, 4 ounces. The difference between 4 ounces was 420 all the way up to 485. And this would have been a package that was about 8 ounces, right? So this would have been, so actually that's cheaper than the zone 1 because zone 1 for, let me pull this up. Zone 1 for 12 ounces was 538 for zone 1 and 624 for zone 9. So that is cheaper than it was before. So that's for the under a pound. So now we need to see, okay, so then was that over, did you have one that was a pound that you sent, that you showed? What was the over a pound one? Let's see. US coastal sellers will incur more to opposite coast, but I guess it will work out. Yeah. So we'll see how it works out. So that's interesting. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we're still going to, that's one of my questions. Is there still going to be a max bundle rate for the 1 to 5 pounds? Are we going to be able to say, you know, buyer pays max, but I don't know that we'll, because if there's no way to, it sounds to me like there's not going to be a max on when on over 5 pounds, because the email is saying they're encouraging you to do custom profiles that automatically unbundle once you hit 5 pounds. So for us, that's going to be right around, you're going to want to say something probably like 14 yards of fabric to be safe. Because you can, because I just did the math, an average yard of fabric is right around 5 ounces. So if you sell 16 yards of fabric, right around 5 ounces each, that's 80 ounces, which is 5 pounds. So you would want, to be safe to include weight of packaging and anything else. You probably would want to about limit it to about 14 yards of fabric before it cuts it off to flip to another 5 pound package. So if you're using poly mailers, right? So follow the reasoning here with me. So if you're using a thick, nice poly mailer, that's going to fit, 14 yards of fabric is going to weigh probably about 12 ounces, right? So in order to get, so if you take 5 pounds, which is 80 ounces, right? So 80 ounces is 5 pounds. Subtract the weight of the packaging. That gives you about 68 ounces divided by 5 ounces. That's about 13.6 yards of fabric. that's where you're going to probably want to do your cutoff. So that what that means is if you do a custom shipping profile, I would just say, let me think how you would do that. Yeah, it's hard because if you want to be able to sell by like half yard, then um, versus yards because you want to have fair weights, how would you set it up so that if they buy from the different ones, yeah, I don't know. I'll have to think this through because it's hard for me to think it through live and get a good idea of it. But you'd have to set the limit of items per box exactly. So so maybe selling everything. If you did a custom shipping profile and you just have it set for 5 ounces, yeah, but see, that's not really fair when you're selling, if you're selling smaller pieces of fabric. Yeah. Well, yeah, I agree, so snappy, but you can just do custom profiles. Instead of using their default ranges, we're going to have to do custom. And that's what they were saying in the email anyway, is they encourage you to set up custom profiles. So we're going to want to do that. And you're going to want to do it. A lot of the clothing sellers are doing that already, where they have a custom shipping profile. And so they'll have something like tops or shirts or something, and then they'll have a limit in their listing that like 5 tops, and then it cuts it off, and then if they buy more than that, it's flipping it to another package already. So we're going to have to kind of come up with, what works for us on that kind of deal too. So, and maybe you're going to want to have curated shows where you're only selling half yards the whole show, or you're only selling yards, or you're only selling, whatever. Fabric, I'm gonna cut all my fabric. No, you're not. Dollar start each square. Um, yeah, agree. Field trip quilting is right on the nose. We've paid the least in shipping of all other platforms. Whatnot has been eating the cost for since 2019. They have been eating the cost of us being able to do all this reduced shipping, and they just can't do it anymore. It's become, you know, a big cost for them, and they're changing it. And it makes sense. I'm not surprised at all. I'm not surprised. And honestly, with so many sellers who were just screwing it up royally, yeah, yeah, well, the contract we had before, obviously, they're not renewing that. So they said no more flat rate. People were, I don't know the details. I'm not going to assume anything, but I'm guessing that's part of the reason is they said we're not renewing the contract as it was. And so they've had to renegotiate something, right? Yeah. So this is what they're coming up with. Um, and that's always the case. There's always certain amount of people who ruin it for everybody. Doesn't, just some people just can't figure it out or don't care and don't do it right. 1 inch squares, yeah. A flat rate box costs $25 in the post office. Yeah. So for us to have been able to use it for all this time for 921, I mean, hello. That probably honestly, the post office was probably losing money on that because they were producing the boxes, and boxes aren't cheap. Boxes are not cheap. They were producing the boxes we were using, and for $9.21 shipping rate, people were getting a full flat rate box of stuff all day long, every day on Whatnot. And Yeah. I'm just not shocked that this is happening because it just was too good. It was too good. People, and and it always cracked me up when people would complain about it. And I'm like, what planet are you living on? $9.21, and you can get a large flat rate box full, you know, it was good. It was really good. Yep. As a seller, should I have gotten an email regarding the shipping changes? Yes. I didn't get it. So, I think it just, and maybe it's still going out. Someone just a minute ago said they only got it 20 minutes ago, so maybe it's still going out, but I did not get it. So, yeah, it was not in my email or my junk mail or any of them. So, I don't know. But yes, you should have gotten one. And it looks like, let me show you a copy of the one without showing her email. Vintage Chick sent me hers, and I'll show you what it looks like so you can know what to watch for. All right, so here is the copy that she sent me. Here's what it looks like. So that's the title. Okay, and it says we're reaching out to give you advance notice of a shipping change. USPS flat rate shipping will no longer be supported on Whatnot. And then it says, while timing has not yet been finalized and is not entirely within our control, that tells me that it has more to do with the post office. These changes will not take effect before August 1st. So it may actually be longer than that, is what they're saying, right? Because it won't take place before August 1st. Oh, that's not the title of the one that you got? Let me look at the title again and see. Well, I think the title is different. I think the title, that's actually the first thing in the email, but I think the title was actually slightly different. Like it just said change. Let me see. Let me look in my actual email here because she forwarded it to me. The title is important USPS shipping update. That's the title. Yeah. Yeah. So Snappy has it in there. That's the title of the email. And then that flat rate transition support is the first thing you see on the actual email when you open it. So, yeah. Oh, you sent me a weight chart for brands. Oh, there's actually a weight chart for brands. That's interesting. Let me see. Oh, that's true. Cause like lightweight fabrics, like art gallery is only about um 4 ounces, whereas standard like Moda, Riley Blake, those are about 5 ounces. And then thicker solids like Kona are going to be more like 6. So yeah. So average yard of fabric is right around 5 ounces, between 4 to 6 ounces. Yeah. Yeah. Not before August 1st is a corporate way of saying it'll happen August 1st. We need to return those flat rate boxes on a specific date altogether. Yeah. So the post office is like crap. They'll probably have a huge pile in the lobby, and then no one's going to be using them anymore. Yeah, that'll teach them. Yep. So yeah. So that's a good. So Vintage just sent me this. Um, so that's, let me take a screenshot of it, and I will, let me see if I can remember how to do screenshots on this iPad. Let's see. That way. Um, I don't remember how to do screenshots on this iPad. I think it's the power button and the. Let me see if that worked. No, that did not work. Anyway, I'll screenshot that and put it in. Well, but this is an older iPad. Volume and power. Yeah, let me see if that works. Let's see. Because it's my mom's old one that I'm using. And that's what I just tried, but it didn't work. Let's see. Yeah, that's not working. I don't know. I'll take a screenshot of that. And welcome in City Stash. Have you been in here lurking this whole time? Or are you just joining us? What did you miss when you checked your email? Flat rate is going away officially. So check your email for the email that is titled, what did we just say it was titled? It is titled Important USPS Shipping Update. It's in your email. And hello. So flat rate is going away. And we are we're being encouraged to keep everything under 5 pounds because they're going to get a special rate. And Andy did a practice show and it was 509 to send from Arizona to the East Coast. So, yeah. Someone smarter than me will have to help me set my customer shipping because I'm not good at figuring it out. Well, we'll all get it figured out. Yeah. And then they're saying on here, if you make mistakes, it says in here, USPS flat rate and priority mail packaging cannot be used with Ground Advantage. Doing so may result in carrier fees of $20 per package charged to your account and may cause packages to be returned by the Postal Service, resulting in delivery delays and poor buyer experience. And I will say, don't also do this. Don't use those flat rate boxes and packages that you already have, um, and try and put them inside poly mailers. Because first of all, you're paying for the poly mailers, so it would be stupid to do that. But they're gonna find you out and charge you that $20. It says August 1st, but it says it is worded no sooner than August, will not take effect before August 1st. So August 1st is what I would plan on. Yeah. I know you just barely got into the flat rate life. So you missed out for a few years there on the flat rate life. Let's see. I just saw House of Coop post a screenshot. It says flat rate will be the more expensive option. Well, flat rate is going away completely. It won't even be an option. Priority will still be available, but it will be the more expensive option. Yeah. So, yeah. So check your email if you didn't get it. Yeah, I have someone forward it to you because I didn't even get it. That's the irony of this whole thing, right? Is that Draz did not even get the official whatnot email. I haven't been getting a lot of their official ones anyway, so I don't know what's up with that. Lisa, you don't get them either. Yeah, it's annoying. Let's see. Let's see. Mine says they will give me some money in my account to offset the cost of packaging. Yeah, it does say that in there. And I think if you used, because it says if you used more than 100 flat rate boxes in the month of May, they're going to give you some money in your account. Notice it's not giving a specific amount. So, yeah, I don't know how much they're going to give us, but that will be nice. At least a little bit of a, yeah, I did like, yeah, you probably did like 5,000 flat rate boxes the month of May. I don't, I'll have to look and see, but I probably did a lot too. We'll see. Um, yeah. Well, see, here's the thing. I don't think it's Whatnot's decision. I think the Postal Service, when they went to renegotiate the rates that they have, what the Postal Service is saying, no more flat rate. I mean, it was too good. It was too good. We were paying $9.21 for a flat rate box when you go in, and commercial rates for flat rate where the lowest one was like 13, and that was for the little tiny box, right? So it was too good. The Postal Service was like, no more, because they can't keep up with the volume we're doing. The volume of mail we are creating for them is insane, right? And we just hit 1 billion in sales. Yeah. Let's see. Right now, okay, I'm in a Zoom call. Talk to you guys a little later. Yeah. Yep. Yep. There must be multiple versions of email. Mine is very simple and basically says, as a buyer, I will get better shipping prices. Oh, interesting. Hey, Never would you mind forwarding that to me? Um, Send me a message in here because if there's multiple versions, I'm curious why there's multiple versions. Why would there be multiple versions? Why wouldn't everyone get the same version of this? So I'm going to send you a message. Never miss with my email address. And if you don't mind forwarding me your actual email that you got so I can see the difference. All right, so I just sent you my email. If you don't mind forwarding me that. Because that's weird that there's multiple versions. Let's see. I got one too that is different. You got one too. Oh, thank you, City Stash, for your purchase. Olga, hey, you don't see an email even in junk. So have send a message to either Vintage Chick or So Snappy and have them forward the one that they got for the replay. Oh, aw, there you go. Let's see. Let's see, will your SB me more now to cover boxes? Restate that, Michelle, because I'm not sure what you were asking. Starting bid be more now to cover boxes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I have to see because they aren't telling us the actual rates. But if the rates are decent, I don't see why, because I have pinned right now what the commercial pricing used to be. And they're saying that the 1 to 5 pound rate will be 20% less than what it was before. And so we did some math on that. And if it was 921, then it should be about 736 for 1 to 5 pounds, if that holds true. So I don't know. We have to see the rates. So that's going to be the question I'm going to ask is what's the rate? And then I'm asking will there still be a reduced shipping max bundle rate that sellers will be able to offer, because that's been one of the advantages of being able to provide a max rate is you get that reduced shipping banner on your shows, and people can be assured they're not going to pay more than X amount. And maybe we'll still be able to offer that. It's just that we're going to have to offset it, um, by how we do our shipping. I don't know. And it obviously won't be 921 because that was based on that 921 rate was based on what it was costing us to do a flat rate package. So that's going away. So now there won't be a set rate for flat rate. So we would determine our own max rate if we're still able to offer a max rate. So I don't know. All right, let me see. So Never Miss, did you send me what you got? Let me look. Yeah, here it is. All right, so Never Miss got one. It's set. Okay, yeah, this is completely different. The title on hers is still the same, but instead of, let me see if I can put them side by side on my screen and I'll show you. Let's see how I would do that. Let's see. All right, so I'm going to open my email in two different windows here, and I'll have the one Vintage Chick sent me on one screen, and then I'll split the screen um, into two. Okay, so all right, so I have these on here. Okay, so let me show you on my screen. Okay, I think the American is saying I think emails are different because it depends on how many flat rate boxes you used in the month of May. Yeah, I think so too. I think that's what it is. Some are getting credits back, and sellers with yet less used boxes will not. Yeah. Okay, so here's what Never Miss got. Lower shipping costs are coming. We've secured lower ground advantage shipping rates for most orders, reducing shipper reducing buyer shipping costs by approximately 20%, simplifying the shipping experience. This will be the lowest USPS pricing we've ever offered, with changes expected to take effect as soon as August 1st. So they're putting a very positive spin on it there, right? As shipping rates are updated, we also expect the following changes. Priority mail will remain available, but will cost significantly more than ground advantage while arriving only about 1 day sooner. And that I would say is a joke because it never arrived any sooner, in my opinion. Flat rate shipping and flat rate boxes will no longer be an option. USPS priority mail packaging can only be used with priority mail. We already know that. You'll get a charge. So it basically says the same stuff except for it doesn't have the verbiage in there saying that you're going to get a credit if you used more than 100 flat rate boxes in May. So this is the one that Vintage Chick got. This is the one that Never Miss Finds got. So Never Miss, I'm guessing you didn't use as many flat rate. So this one does still have the link to the help center. And so really it's just not doing this paragraph right here in this email over here, right? Is that what I'm seeing? All right. So yeah, interesting. It also could look different for those that don't do their own customer support. Yeah, that's possible. Um, does anyone else have one that was different than those two emails that I just showed? Or is that that's what you got? Junior Embroidery got that one. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I mean, consensus. Yeah, B. Haynes, shipping is changing. If you didn't get the email, have message So Snappy or probably never missed finds. It depends on how many flat rate boxes do you think you used in May? Because if you use less than 100 flat rate boxes, um, probably you got the simpler one that Never Miss Find got. So maybe message her and have her forward it. Give her your email so she can forward it to you. I will take screenshots of both of these and post them in here. Um, let me see if I can do that easily on. Let me think how I can do that easily. And I won't Never Miss and Vintage Chick. It won't show your email because I'll just take a screenshot of the actual email. Let's see. Let me see if I can do it on here really quick without it being too blurry. Let's see. Okay, so here's, yeah, that's not too terrible. Ugh, this, my mom's iPad has this weird cover on it. Okay, let's see. There, let's see if that did a. I'm trying to take a picture of it here. Let's see, and then I'll crop it. Okay, so photos. Let's see if I got a decent one. All right, and then let's see. I don't even know how to do stuff on this. Let's see, how do I edit a photo on this stupid thing? I never use this iPad except for these shows to have this extra screen. Let's see. All right, well, let me just take the picture of the other one and then I'll figure it out. Okay. Let's see if I can get this one. The full picture. The second version is a lot longer, so it might have to be two pictures. That's the title. And then I'm going to have to go scroll down to get the rest of it. All right. So I'll get those put in. And oh, thank you for the tips, you guys. That's very sweet. You don't need to do that. Um, yeah, Andy is saying, Andy is saying, do y'all want me to buy 10,000? Seriously, I mean, maybe we want to do that, right? He wants to buy 10,000 poly mailers with me, right? Yeah, we're gonna have to do something like that. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Meryl King, for being here. You didn't use that many boxes. Yeah. Honestly, in that sense, I think it's a good thing because boxes got beat the heck up anyway. And I think fabric's going to survive better in just make sure you're sourcing really nice poly mailers, thick poly mailers that don't get ripped up. But yeah, I agree what Andy is saying. Please make this a positive experience so we don't scare the buyers. Don't go into your shows and start dissing whatnot and being negative about it because you're going to just make everybody else pissed about it too. Let's see how it rolls out. Let's not um let's not be really negative Nelly about the whole thing. Because if all the fabric sellers are going on and having shows and being, if you heard about this, you're not going to be able to get as much fabric and blah, blah, blah. We don't want to drive them to other platforms. So, Yeah, and it sounds to me like anything under 5 pounds, it's actually going to be less than 921. Because how many of your buyers were already buying less than 5 pounds? Most of them. I would say most of my buyers were buying less than 5 pounds of fabric on average, right? If you're having a big show, most of my people were, I mean, most of them were buying over a pound, but I would say most of them were buying less than 5 pounds. And so it's actually going to be a better rate for them for the 1 to 5 pounds. So, you know, yeah, most people buy about 5 to 7 yards, and 5 to 7 yards is still under 5 pounds because if your average yard of fabric, which I'll take a screenshot of that thing Vintage Chick sent me and put that in there too. Calls and then it ruins my chat here. Do you guys am I still on audio? Did my audio cut out? Someone tell me if my audio cut out. It's okay. Okay. Um I just asked flat rate will change in August automatically and shows already up to ground. So we won't need to, yeah. It said that in the email, yeah, that you won't have to do anything when you click that link to the help center. It said that it won't you won't have to do anything. It will automatically update your shipping settings. So it sounds to me like the only thing you would have to change is if, which I'm going to ask, is if you're choosing to send something priority or if there's still the ability to offer a max rate, which I don't know yet. So, because they haven't said anything about still being able to do a max shipping rate. So, obviously, it wouldn't be 921 because um, that was based on the flat rate that was negotiated of 921. So, So yeah, everyone deep breaths. I actually think this is going to work out okay, because if most people buy, you know, less than 5 pounds anyway, it's going to be a cheaper rate, right? So, because 5 ounces of fabric is about a yard, art gallery thinner weight is about 4 ounces, Kona solids from that thing Vintage Chick sent is about 6 ounces. So it averages about 5 ounces per yard. So if someone buys 5 yards of fabric, that's 25 ounces. Of 5 pounds is 80 ounces. Right? So including the packaging, and if you're using poly mailers, a good thick poly mailer that it's really big, weighs about 12 ounces. Your average poly mailer for around 5 pounds or 5 yards of fabric is only going to weigh, 3, 4 ounces, right? So yeah, I think we're going to be okay. I think we're going to be okay. It's going to be an adjustment. And I think it is going to affect, that you may or may not have as many people buying, because I think the max I've ever sold to one person in one show was 55 items. I think that's probably going to go down, because people just aren't going to necessarily buy that much in one show because what what we're all probably going to end up doing is setting a max limit of items before it rolls to another package. That's what's starting to make sense to me because otherwise it sounds like when it goes over 5 pounds, that ground advantage rate is now going to flip to the regular commercial pricing for ground advantage instead of the 1 to 5 pound they negotiated because they're saying in here Weigh your products to understand how many items will fit when a 5-pound shipment. Use custom profiles and bundle limits to keep shipments at or below 5 pounds when possible. That's what they're saying right up front. So it sounds to me like we're going to want to do a 5-pound limit. And then if they buy more than 5 pounds, it's going to unbundle and create another package still at that special 1 to 5 pound rate, which sounds like is still going to be a better rate than if it flips to over 5 pounds. Does that make sense, you guys? That's what I'm feeling like it's saying, right? Pre whatnot, I was able to sell 35 pounds of fabric for roughly 35 ground. Yeah, it's going to be okay. We're going to be okay. If we unbundle, wouldn't we take the hit for the whole package? Well, only if we're doing a max, but it sounds to me like why would we do a max rate if it really doesn't matter? I mean, if it's still going to allow us to do a max rate so that people get a banner that says offers reduced shipping and you can afford to do that, then yeah, we would still do that. But I don't know yet if that's going to be something we're going to be able to do still. If we're still going to be able to put in a buyer pays max amount or not. If we can and it gives us a reduced shipping, then you might be able to do that. And then if you unbundle, if you as the seller are putting in a max bundle rate in the listing itself and then it unbundles it, then yeah, you would be paying the extra over whatever that rate is, just like you would now. Okay. So am I understanding that ground is up to 5 pounds? Well, there is an over 5 pound, obviously. But what they're saying is that they've negotiated a special rate for 1 to 5 pounds that is supposed to be 20% less than what they were paying before. So if they were paying $9.21 for 1 to 5 pounds flat rate before, that should mean that the rate for 5 pounds, 1 to 5 pounds now is about 736 because that's what 20% is. So somewhere in that range is what it's saying, but we don't know yet because we haven't seen a rate chart. And we don't know yet, Sparrow, if we're going to be able to set it for a max or if that's going away. So if that's going away, it really won't matter. And you're definitely going to want to use a custom profile to keep your bundles under 5 pounds. And then customers who buy more than 5 pounds, it will just unbundle, create another order. So yeah, I just asked, we can still do max. Okay. You just asked and they came back and said that you will still be able to do max. Okay. But the max will just give you the ability to show that you do reduce shipping, right? And you're going to want to change your max to be something that makes sense for you. And it's not going to be 921 anymore because that was based on the flat rate. So you're just going to have to decide what makes sense for you. And obviously, probably you're going to want to probably have it right. I mean, I personally would think you would probably want to have it around um I mean, I'm thinking in my head, I probably would want to have it around $8 because then if they buy less than 5 pounds, it's never going to hit the max. And if they buy 5 pounds or more, maybe you would want it to be still around 9 because then you're going to pay, as the seller, you're going to pay, about $5 of their shipping if they do more. Yeah. So you just decide what works for you. And it sounds like we'll still have that. So then we will still get that reduced shipping banner if we have the buyer pays up to a certain amount. So we'll have to just see how it flushes out with the rates. Yeah. Yeah, we need a new rate chart. I agree. So I'm going to ask for that. Um, but you know, they may not even have it yet. But and I'm speculating on this, but according to what they're saying, if your 1 to 5 pound used to be able to be 921, and ground advantage at 1 to 5 pounds is now going to be 20% less, that's about what it will be, because that's 20% less than 921, 736. So we'll see. We'll see. All right, I'll reach out to the connections I have directly with Whatnot and see what I can find out for you guys, um, and post it. Big change, big change. Again, I'm not surprised that this is happening because when I got the rumors a month ago and asked about them, I was told it was a test, not effective yet, but I did not get a definitive, this is never going to happen. And so I suspected that it was legit and that it would happen. And here we are. So here we are. And it sounds to me like the verbiage in here is this was not something that Whatnot chose. It sounds to me like the Postal Service came back and said, we're no longer, you know, they're no longer going to allow the 921 flat rate. And so they had to renegotiate something else. So yeah. Can be forwarded the info about how many yards of fabric per weight you can ship and stay under 5 pounds? Um, I'll put the picture of the one that Vintage Chick showed me that shows the average weight per per yard of fabric on the different brands roughly. But it's basically going to be somewhere in the range of 14 to 16 yards of fabric, because your average yard of fabric weighs about 5 ounces. Lighter weight art gallery is about 4, heavier weight Kona solid is about 6 ounces. So that's, your average is about 5 ounces. So if you take 5 ounces of fabric, and 80 pound or 80 ounces is 5 pounds. So if you take 80 ounces and divide it by 5, that gives you 16. But you need to account for the weight of the packaging and any bags or other stuff you stick in there. So I would say safely you probably want to plan on about 13 to 14 yards of fabric before you cut off your limit for 5 pounds. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Yep. So if you use a 12 by 15.5 poly mailer and the 14, 16 yards will be under 5 pounds. Yep. Twin Rivers just put that in there. Yeah. The other problem Burner Nut is saying on the postal side is that nobody even knew about Whatnot and commercial contracts at the local levels. Yeah, that's true. Um, So you're going to post the new chart. What new chart? I'm gonna post copies of the emails, and I'm going to post a copy of that thing Vintage Chick sent me that showed approximately what a yard of fabric weighs at the different brands. Um, so I'll post those. So I'll have those on my show Tuesday morning because I'll take the pictures of those. Yeah. So Snappy is saying 12. You think 12 yards is safer? Is that what you're saying? So Snappy, 12 yards. Yeah, maybe do an experiment. You think 12 per box. Yeah, if you're using a box, you're going to have to do less because then you have to account for the weight of the box. If you're doing poly mailer, you could probably fit a little bit more. Fabric and Treasure says she made herself a chart when I started on Whatnot of the different fabric weights by company, and I keep it right by where I list. Oh, so that's very handy. Yeah. Yeah, nobody at the local post office got trained or received any info on Whatnot pricing. Yes, that's true. That's true. But really the pricing negotiation is goes through third party too, because realize that Whatnot contracted with Shippo, who Shippo had the contract. So it's like three parties involved there, Whatnot, Shippo, and the Postal Service. I don't know if this new rate is direct with the post office. I'm guessing it's still probably through, because the actual labels, I don't think the post office's system can actually handle. You almost always have to go through a third party who their software breaks it down and does the labeling, right? So I don't know that it necessarily goes directly through the post office. I think it still will be through, Shippo or whoever. So, yeah. All right. Well, I hope nobody else had any other questions because this is all we talked about, right? Yeah, definitely weigh your packages before you print the label. I know a lot of sellers who still are going in and printing out labels and packing slips before they actually pack and weigh. I think that's bad practice. I know if you're doing high volume, it's hard to do that, but um, yeah, I think that's important that you weigh it before you send it and make sure that label matches because they are going to start charging you back. They've already told us that they're going to start charging us back for any overages. So, make sure that you weigh it before you put that label on it to send it. I do them one by one. Um, but it is hard if you're doing a high volume because it's tempting to want to print everything out in advance to fulfill your orders and then you know but if you're not weighing it right before you ship it, you're going to really risk having all those overages. So I scan my package on the scale so I have proof of the weight in that final image so they can't tell me I had an overage that you didn't. Yeah, that's a good idea. But again, that's extra work. So let's see, my post office is very diligent about weight and type of packages. I put things in the wrong box, even if it was a priority. So no shoebox. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's important to make sure it goes out correctly. All right, I need to get going, you guys. Yeah, I again, please don't panic about this and let's be positive. I think it's going to actually work out good. Um, I think, if we stay really positive about a better rate, and how many people really buy 13 yards of fabric in a single show? Not always, it's, I mean, we do have that happen, but it's not frequent, right? Most buyers buy under that amount in a particular show. So let's stay positive. Let's put it out there as a positive thing. And if we still get to do the max shipping and have that reduced shipping banner, that's good. And you'll just have to decide what rate will work for you. And it sounds like you'll be able to change it. Sometimes you'll want to do less and offer a lower rate, which is what stuff people already did, right? You guys are so welcome. Yeah. Remember that I do broadcast to YouTube. These are always multicast to YouTube. So this show, you don't necessarily have to purchase something. You can rewatch it on my YouTube. So it'll be downloaded there probably within the next day if you want to rewatch the whole thing. Um, oh, thank you for the tip. You guys are being really generous today. Thank you. But yeah, I will talk to the people that I work with because I work directly with Kenny, who is the who is Whatnot seller support and or not what's not seller ports Whatnot. What is his official title? Um, I can't think now what his official title is, but I have a direct link with him. And so I can ask what he can tell me. We'll see, what he's willing and able to share. But my questions right now are what are the rates, and so that we know what the rates are going to be. And then also, oh, we already got the answer to whether or not we'll still be able to do the max. Okay. So my YouTube channel is in the show notes. So if you look in the show notes, the like one, two, three, fourth thing down with the little talking head, my YouTube channel is at Draz on Whatnot, and that's what I am across all social media. And when you go to YouTube, type it in as at Draz on Whatnot, exactly like that, because there's so much Whatnot content out there
Business can be complicated.
that it's hard to. Oh, hang on, sorry, I got this
By Wells Fargo.
volume on here.
Rewards on business
One
purchases.
second.
Signify.
So I was just going to go to YouTube and show you on the screen. So in YouTube, so when you're on YouTube, just type in at Draz on Whatnot, exactly like that. And then here I am. See, here I am. That's got my same logo that's on here. So just click that and it will take you to my channel and see how we're live right now. And so as soon as this show ends, it will drop down to, one of the next levels, and you just click on the lives. And so like here is this one, we're live. This was my show yesterday. I need to go in there and delete some of these because I don't necessarily use a lot of the lives, but it does help you advertise if you multicast. So I multicast on both Facebook and YouTube simultaneously. So you can go there and rewatch this. You're so welcome. All right. Best of luck, everybody, with this change. Yeah, I think we'll adapt. I think it's going to be okay. It's just going to be an adjustment. So everybody, hold on. And yeah, I think we do need to maybe have someone buy bulk. Let's check out some different poly mailer options. Buy them in bulk and share the love. I don't know. We'll see how it goes out. Thank you, everybody. Let's go raid someone and give them a little blessing. And let's see who's live that needs some love because we're probably all hanging out in here right now instead, right? Who is live that we want to go raid into? Anyone have some suggestions? Let me know if you have someone you would like us to raid. Fingers crossed they'll give us the same ground shipping poly mailers. Yes, I agree. Hopefully we will get those. Because that would be nice. Because then on the smaller orders, we'll be able to use those at least. All right, let's go right into, let's see. How about, wow, there's so many new sellers. How about Mary Lack? She is the sweetest. The sweetest. Oh, but Jessica went live. Wasn't Jessica in here earlier? Is that the same Jessica? Where is she? Is that a different Jessica? That's a different Jessica. Okay. All right, let's go raid Mary. She's a doll and give her a little bit of love. Okay, here we go. Raiding over to Mary Lack while I have such a hard time deciding who to raid. It's a problem I have. I'm always like strategically going, who should we raid? All right, Mary is alive. Here we go. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.